Oh, haha, I just saw that John said, "Can everybody hear me?" And I've been having my microphone on mute and I've just been talking up a blue streak. Awesome. Thanks, John. How you doing? Can you hear me now? All right. I'm going to assume that everybody can hear me now. My sound meter is going, so it looks like everything's working right. Sorry about that. Thank you. Excellent. Okay, we're getting an echo now. Interesting. Let's fix that. Uh, John, and we'll figure something out. And for those of you who are just joining us, we got a few people starting to filter in. I'd invite you to turn on your camera so that we can get to know you a little bit. One of the things that we'll do here when we get a few more, hey Amanda, how are you? And I see we got, like I said, we got John in here, we got Marco in here, Steve's dropping in, and we'll have a few more people in here. I see Manesh kind of hanging out in the background there. So what we'll do here, and when we get a few more people in, we'll do some introductions. And what I was talking about when nobody could hear me was I got a question in asking about getting a job in product management. Yeah, everybody is on mute right now, but you should be able to take yourself off of mute anytime you want to. Um, how do I get a job in product management? What I was explaining is if you're new to the product management career path, this is an exceptionally difficult time, but it's not impossible. The reason it's an exceptionally difficult time is because due to a lot of financial crises over the last 12 months, the failure of Silicon Valley Bank was kind of one of the factors. And another one of the big factors has just been the number of software companies that missed their sales targets in Q4 of 2022, and that had a rolling impact into 2023 and resulted in a lot of belt tightening and layoffs and reductions in force in product management. So we ended up with a lot of people out there, or a lot of really well experienced and highly qualified product managers looking for work at the same time. Which means if you're kind of new to the space, you're competing with people, even for lower level roles, you're competing with people that have a ton of experience, because people are kind of taking a step down just to have some meaningful work, knowing that they can grow into a more senior role as the economy rebounds, as technology businesses rebound and things settle down. They know they'll be able to grow back. So they're taking things that are kind of where they're a little overqualified. So that means you get to compete with some folks that are really highly qualified. Doesn't mean that you're totally out of luck, though. And one of the things that I always advise people who are thinking about moving into product management and are trying to get their first role in this space, a couple of things that you can do to invest in yourself and move yourself closer to a product management role is look at adjacencies in companies. One of the things that people aren't cutting back on terribly at is customer service and customer experience. And if you can get into a strong customer service role in a product company, you can get yourself into a position to really learn that customer and learn those customer issues so that as more entry level product management roles come in, you can apply for those internally, and you've got a really deep knowledge and understanding of the market that you're serving and the customers that you're serving. And that gives you a little bit more power to bring that customer perspective into the product management practice there in your company. Another great path into product management is sales engineering. So if you're technically inclined especially in a software company, taking a role on a sales team as a sales engineer, where you're essentially helping to assemble your solutions in create demonstrations to help clients understand how they can get value from the products that you're selling, will give you another good close contact with those customers and help you create the customer perspective, the user perspective that you need to excel in a product management role later. And the third tip that I give people is go find some startups that are out there. There are a lot of startups out there that are doing a lot of hard work. And very often, founders of startups don't have a product management skill set. They've got a natural knack and an understanding of their market space and of their customers, and they need help. And either volunteering your time, taking on, offering to take on a small equity position, put in some sweat equity, or serving in a very low paid product management role for an early stage company that's getting their feet under them, to give you some practical experience in product management while helping somebody do some big things. And you might just find out that you can grow into that company in a really interesting way as well. So those are kind of 3 tips that I give to people who are trying to break into product management, especially right now in this market. There are a ton of people starting companies right now because you have a lot of people that lost tech jobs during the reductions in force, and they're taking their talent and they're trying new things and creating things. And one thing that history has shown us over and over again is when there's an economic downturn, that's when startups tend to really kind of explode and thrive, and we can see a wave of those coming behind it. So there's opportunity there as well. So with that being said, we've got a few people on the line now, and anybody to kind of give additional insights on that topic. But what we do, those of you who are joining us for the first time, is for the first little while, we're just going to go around and have some conversation. So turn on camera. If your camera's on, I want to introduce yourself to everyone. And I'm going to start. I'm just and I'll get to new people earlier if I can, but also try to get to people that we haven't heard from in a little while at the same time. So I'm going to start off with Steve Curry. Hey, Steven, how are you? Good morning.
Well, good morning, Jason. How are you today? I'm pretty good. Well, good morning,
Jason.
Doing
great. Why don't you introduce yourself to everybody who doesn't know you and tell us what has your attention?
Well, my name is Stephen Curry. I do product management. My name is Stephen Curry. I do healthcare product management, product ownership in the healthcare space. And I'm hearing an echo here, so that's why I have to let it die out. So I'm hearing an echo here, so that's why I have to let it die out, so I know what I'm saying. And
are you still hearing it?
And yes. No, they were just stopped. Yes. No, they were just stopped. Yes. Okay. In the healthcare space, and I'm here to hear what they have to say about healthcare space, communicating priorities, because communications are the glue to make the whole thing happen. How you communicate your goals, your interests, how you get other people aligned with you, and you communicate to them what you need them to do, and how you listen to them. That's really what makes it happen. So that's what I focus on.
I think I figured out what was causing the echo, and it should be gone. It should be going away now. All right. Hopefully that's better. So thanks. Welcome back. Good to see you. And I want you to check that out one more time, Stephen, and just say hello and just real quickly make sure that echo is gone for you.
Hello, everybody.
All better?
Yep.
Okay, great. Thanks, everybody. Okay, I got you, Yasmin. Will not be calling on you. Or maybe I will, because I'm just a little bit cruel. No, you're fine. It was not actually coming through my mic. There was a feedback loop here on the system, actually. But anyway, let's go over to Sanjay. How are you? Why don't you introduce yourself?
Hello, my name is Sanjay Sadagopan. I'm a product manager at a software consulting company called TrustWorks. We're mainly consultants for federal government clients, and right now I'm working on a project involving cloud infrastructure for a office in the government, and been in product for probably more than almost 10 years now. Yeah, maybe more. I don't remember at this point, but so came from VMware, and then I worked for a little bit in a software company that does emergency management software before starting here. Excited to be here.
Very good. Very good. Well, welcome back. Good to see you. And tell me, what's got your attention right now? And for those who are hearing that question for the first time here, maybe you've got something to celebrate. Maybe you've launched something, or you've solved a big problem you've been working on, or maybe you've got a challenge or a topic that you're really interested in that you've been researching lately related to product management. Just love to kind of hear what's on your mind and what has your attention.
Yeah. So I guess one reason that this particular session caught my attention was because it was around communication, especially around communication of priorities. And that, along with sort of stakeholder management, is what really takes a lot of my attention at at my job, especially in consulting, working for a client who I mean, the client is one stakeholder, but then you also have your customers slash users, who are other stakeholders, and then of course you have your own firm. So lots of things to manage. I mean, it's not too dissimilar from private sector client, or selling a product where you have a buyer and a customer user type of thing. But yeah, that's kind of what I'm paying attention to.
Very good. Well, yeah, it's going to be a great session for you, Jerry. And Jerry's been working on a great discussion for us. And we're going to examine that from a lot of different angles and looking forward to getting into it. So thanks for being here with us. I also want to call out, we got a bunch of people joining us for the first time. And I'm not going to necessarily make you talk if your camera's not on, but I do want to make a special welcome to John, Dustin, Quentin, Giorgio, and Preston, all joining us here for the first time, I believe. I think those are all new names that we haven't met before. So we're really glad to have you here and look forward to getting to know you a little bit. So let's go to Quentin. Quentin, why don't you say hello?
Hey, sorry, I'm in an Uber. That's what I was saying. But hey, good morning, everybody. I'm Quentin, founder of DAS, Developers as a Service, and I also have a startup called Capri AI. It's an AI-focused startup, and that's what Jason and I were talking about last night. Is I'm looking for some insight around just the product development, product management side of stuff, because I'm a developer myself, and I built the product myself from the ground up, and now I'm hiring a team for the first time, and so really looking forward to just learning what I can learn here and getting shared from.
Awesome. Yeah. So glad to see you made it. We were talking about that towards the end of the event yesterday evening. He said, I'll be there. So glad you made it. Yep. And Preston's asking if you were at the tech meetup last night. And yeah, we were both there. So good to see you, Preston.
I missed you too then, Jason.
Yep. Good to see you. I think I saw you standing off on one side. Why don't you introduce yourself while you're on the screen?
Yeah, sure thing. Hey, y'all. My name is Preston Cornelius. I unfortunately was part of those reduction in forces that Jason was talking about earlier in August this year. My background is as a Scrum Master, but very interested in the product space. I really enjoyed working with my product owner, and just looking to absorb as much information as I can. I met Jerry, our speaker today, at another networking event, and he told me about Product Coffee. So I'm here to check it out and learn as much as I can.
Awesome. Great. Glad to have you here. Good to see you. And we'll look forward to getting to know you a little bit better too as time goes. So welcome.
Thanks, Jason.
You bet. So let's jump over to Rajan. How are you, Rajan?
I'm good. This morning.
Good morning.
So my name is Rajan Dashel, and I am currently a product manager at Magnet Forensics. I just started as a product manager about October 1st. It was my first start date. Previously a product owner at the same company. What has my attention right now? Lots of things. Just trying to understand the product that I was handed. But we are doing a trial launch. It's our first trial launch for the company ever. So it's interesting how that's going. We're trying to get it kicked out there, and we're trying to get it kicked out there really fast. So because the customer feedback was, hey, I need to try this before I can buy this and prove it's for my budget. So, and our customers are mainly law enforcement, so it's interesting how things have to go in that respect. So
Yep. Very good. Glad to have you here. Good to see you. Welcome back. I finally handed off that Friends of Product Camp shirt to you at the last happy hour. And yesterday I came across another Friends of Product Camp shirt that never made its way into your hands. Thanks for all the support you've given us over the years.
Yep. I'll get them.
All right, cool. Okay, I see Giorgio says my camera is off, but happy to introduce myself. So come on, Giorgio, why don't you say hello?
Hello, everyone. My name is Giorgio. I'm Italian. I'm a product manager for a SaaS company in Europe. And at the beginning of this year, I made a big, bold move. I moved to the US. I'm now living in Florida, and I'm enrolled in a master's degree. And my next move after graduating in December is to find and land a job in a restaurant SaaS tech company. So I'm here to learn more about you guys. Seems like we have great minds and great experiences. So looking forward.
Excellent. So glad to have you here. Welcome, and welcome to the U.S. We're glad to have coming across the ocean. I really meet you, and glad to join us today. And looking forward to getting better and helping you find that opportunity as you get ready to move on to it. And good luck on your math. So.
Thank you.
Also had you bet. We also just had Teresa join. We've also got Nigel has just joined us on Product Coffee for the first time. Glad to see you here. And for those of you who didn't hear early on, what we'll do here is if your camera's on, I'll try to get to everybody and give you a moment to introduce yourself and let us know what has your attention. Is there something you're specifically interested in learning that you've been researching? What's the last product management topic that you went searching for on Google maybe? Or is there some success you want to celebrate with a bunch of product people who get it here? Would love to hear what you have to say. Let's jump up to Mike up in Pennsylvania. Hey, Mike.
Hey, Jason. Great to see everyone. It's been a minute. It's been a couple very full months, but good months. I was able to do some traveling and unplug for a little bit. But on the work end, two big items that are kind of top of mind for me is working on implementing a couple APIs, like the full process. I've been involved with various parts of that process, but this is my first time taking it from a discussion to actually implementing it. So I'm learning a heck of a lot there. And then we're making some updates to our disaster recovery protocol. So I've been jumping down that. I work for an insurance company and jumping down kind of that portal of the disaster recovery protocol tips, tools, techniques, softwares, and everything. So it's a lot of fun. I learn a heck of a lot and have a lot of fun.
Very cool. Very good. Glad to see you back. I know it has been a little while, but we missed you and sure are glad to have you back. But, better than not having anything to do. So
yeah. Good to see everyone though.
Yep, you bet. Let's see here. I'm working on my microphone. I see a comment there that we've still got a little bit of mic issue going on or a little feedback going on. I'll work on that. Hopefully we can get it straightened out here. Fortunately, I'm not leading the session today, so I will shut up eventually. In the meantime, let's jump to Nigel. How are you, Nigel?
Hey, great. Thanks for this. Well, how are you?
Doing fantastic. Why don't you introduce yourself to everybody and tell us what you're working on?
Yeah. Big fan. Last product conference was great. So I am director of digital for Toka, or software company. And we're going through our big planning phase at the moment. So my role tends to be to combine a few different product teams together, as well as like the non-technical groups. And at the moment, it's been like squishing all of our data together to create a more what is turning into a customer data warehouse, and use that to create actionable insights to understand how people are coming into us, and then most importantly, like what can we do to improve their experience. It's been a lot of fun, becoming more interesting as we go.
Very good. I also, for those who haven't met you before, we're holding here in Atlanta next week a AI forum. It's an in-person all-day event for marketers and product managers, and it is the Impact of AI Forum. And Nigel is one of our featured speakers for the Impact of AI Forum next week. We'll be at the Brass Tap. Tickets are on sale right now. You can go to productcopy.com and hit the AI forum link at the top of your screen. And if you're following Product Coffee on LinkedIn, if you're not, you should be. If you're following Product Coffee on LinkedIn, watch that, because we're going to be doing a flash sale on tickets for that later today as well. So keep your eye on that this afternoon. It'll run from about 11 o'clock till about 2 o'clock. You'll be able to get a big discount on those tickets. So I hope to see you there. Yes, Manish.
It's in person because we're trying to avoid the AI bots joining.
Absolutely.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And you're sitting there with the AI band hammer, right?
That's me.
All right. Cool. Let's see who we're going to go to next. It's 7:52. We got time for a couple more. Hey, Matt Gross, hadn't seen you in a few weeks. Welcome back, my friend.
Yeah, hey, good morning, everybody. Good to see you guys. I'm Matt Gross. I'm a solution owner, which is kind of a blended product project delivery type role for a small tech consultancy here in Atlanta called Rocket Partners. We build digital tech for Circle K. So I sort of have a dual role there of I own a loyalty program that we've built out for Circle K, and then have a couple other people who do the same type of work under me as well. So I sort of player coach type role. What has my attention right now is we have gone from 0 people on our system on this particular loyalty program to 4 million plus in about 3 months. And so we've gone, we were in 0 stores in April, and now we're in about 4,000 stores here for our customer. So we're growing so fast right now, which is wonderful that the program's doing well. But it's so basically what has my attention right now is scale. How do we support all the additional transactions? What are all of the sort of little nuances for the system that you don't see when it's of limited use, but you do start to see on a daily basis with that kind of volumes? So just trying to get my head around how do we, this topic's great for me because our challenge is always how do we prioritize the work best, right? If you find a little problem that affects 0.01% of people, is that really worth chasing? Like, how do you prioritize the problems, right? That's I know everybody has those kind of challenges, but I've got a roadmap that's a mile long, and not enough people to tackle them. So it's a big part of my job continues to be trying to get that roadmap in the right order and then go off and execute. So yeah, overall things are great.
Good. Well, glad to see you back. Welcome.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Cheers. Get that caffeine going. Let's see here. Who do we have next? Let's jump over to Allison Herbert. Hey, Allison.
It's like ESP. I'm like, get on to the mute button. He's going to call you. Good morning, everyone. Really great to be here. I was just chatting Mike and telling him I was triple booked. Jerry knows that I was triple booked, so I was able to at least remove one of the blockers to show up for a little bit this morning. But super happy to be here. Super happy to see lots of faces that I have been conversing with over the last couple of weeks. So really great to be here. I'm super excited, Jerry. I'm not going to make you nervous, but I'm really excited to see you present. I'm always engaged when you present, so I love to hear what you have to say today.
Thank you, Allison. Allison was actually going to watch this from the dentist chair this morning.
It was.
At least that's what I heard. She had her phone. She was
ready to go. My dentist is really like, what do you want to watch while we're doing all this work to your mouth? And I'm like, okay, find a coffee. So, but the dentist is tomorrow. I moved the dentist, so no dentist today.
Well, we got plenty of replays available in the premium community, so you can actually have her pull one of those up for you.
That's right. That is absolutely
cool.
Yeah. Do you want me to speak on anything or answer anything? My brain just went blank for a moment.
I'm gonna give it a couple of minutes, and we will talk about the book club in just a minute. What time do you have to drop off?
I'm gonna catch most of Jerry's, but then I have a big IT.
Excellent. So we'll come back around to the book club in just a minute and let you talk about that a little bit too.
Awesome.
Unless we see, I don't see Don here. So we'll let you do it. Hey, Anna McFarland, how are you, Anna?
Mute. Getting off mute, it's hard. Hi, everybody.
Yeah.
I feel like it's been a few weeks since I've been to one of these, so sorry. Miss you guys.
That's okay. We got a lot of new faces in here today, so let everybody get to know you.
Yeah, so I'm Director of Product Management for Paylocity, which is a HCM company, human capital management software company, which means everything that like an HR person would do, all the software they would need to do their job. So what's on my mind right now, I have a big project, like the biggest project at our company right now. And about a week and a half ago, it went red. So I have been digging into that project and trying to get it back on track. So that's definitely taking all of my mind space right now, is just trying to get that project back to green as quick as we possibly can. Sure, you guys all have some experience with stuff like that.
It is, yeah. I'm curious without going into the detail of the civic situation. I'm curious about your kind of idea of red, yellow, and green. When you say something's gone red, what does that mean for you?
Yeah, so I mean, we had a particular amount of scope that we planned, and we had a date that we were working towards. So in our industry, we have a lot of what we call new starts, new clients starting January 1st. And it had been as part of our selling season. Our selling season is kind of September through November. And we've been selling this functionality that we've still been building. And when I say selling, this piece of functionality is not on its own a cost. It just comes with the product. It's been part of our conversation in our sales over the past few months. And so we've been telling all these new clients that this functionality was going to be there. And so it's very important that we had it ready for those new clients on January 1st. So it's really about, now we're at the point where we don't think the functionality that we had promised is going to be ready for January 1st. So we're figuring out what scope or what additional resources can we bring in, or all the different levers you can try and pull to get there.
Yeah, all hands on deck. And sometimes some people use red when the risk is just really high. Other times use red when the risk has gone beyond high. And I'm just always curious to understand.
Yeah. No, for us, red is like, we know it's not possible with current resources and time.
Yep.
Or we use like yellow or orange for like, this might be a problem. Or it's looking like we might not make it. And red is when we're like, no, we definitely don't think we can make it at this point.
Yeah. All right. Well, good luck on straightening that out, rescoping some things and getting everybody satisfied. I know you guys are crushing it over there. So I know that you'll create the best outcome that can be created in the moment. So
we will try, for sure. Thank you.
All right. Yep. Okay. And so let's go over to, we got time for one more before we switch gears. So let's say hi to Dustin. Hey, Dustin, how are you? Welcome to Product Coffee.
Hi, good morning. I'm Dustin Pierre. I am a product manager at PenFed Credit Union up in DC. I've been doing this for about 5 years now or so in various ways. But what is on my mind right now is we just got a new leadership and we are implementing SAFe. So trying to navigate that. Yeah.
Yeah, SAFe is so horribly named because it just makes people feel that way, but it doesn't actually do anything for it. So sorry, personal editorial comment. Jerry, sorry, not sorry.
I am staying out of that conversation.
Jerry is an excellent SAFe coach, and I give him a hard time about it all the time because there is definitely a religious debate about SAFe and whether it's agile or not. Yes. And it's one of those fun. It's like Georgia versus Georgia Tech, Falcons versus Saints. It's just kind of one of those. So,
and as with all things, Jerry tends to be pragmatic. So, so sometimes it's hard to argue with Jason.
That's just because I have the mute button. That's all. All right. Hey, Dustin, really glad to have you here. Welcome to Product Coffee. Hope you stick around, get to know us a little bit. And we do this every Wednesday morning and would love to see you back here as many weeks as you're able. We don't expect anybody to be able to make it every single Wednesday. We alternate between time zones. We do 7:30 this week. We'll do 11:30 next week, and we kind of go back and forth on that. To make it a little bit easier for more people to get a swallow of Product Coffee, and if you join our premium membership at productcoffee.com/premium, then you can get all of our back catalog, all of our old sessions, and we make the new sessions available literally as soon as we run them. Like right now, in about 30 minutes or so, the session that we're doing today will be available to our premium members automatically in our private Slack channel, and then we'll move it into our AI-powered portal here over the next few days as well. So welcome. Good to see everybody. I think that's a great idea for a future topic, Matt. And it looks like there's a lot of commentary going on it. So we will come back around. I suspect we will come back around to that. We got a good audience in here today. So let's get started. Real quickly, before we actually get into our actual program, I want to take a moment and thank our sponsors. We have a ton of sponsors who make this program possible every single week. Method has been our leading sponsor for a few years now, and I see that we've got Andy Pohl in here. Andy, I know your camera's off. You might be on a train. Do you have a minute to talk a little bit about a Method?
Yeah, you never know. Train, plane. Today I'm in an automobile, so that's easier. Yeah, I'd be glad to. So at Method, we create digital experiences with the customers at the forefront of designing that experience, and we collaborate with our clients to create those experiences.
Very good. Yeah. And just a great company to work with. Andy's going to be here with us next week, although he hasn't confirmed. I know he's going to do it. Andy's going to be here with us next week. We're going to do a roundtable discussion on where we've been doing prioritization this month has been our kind of core topic. And we started last week with a discussion on prioritization frameworks, what framework is the best one to use for your situation. This week, we're going to talk about communicating priorities. And next week, we're going to have a roundtable discussion on validating your priorities. Do I have the right priorities? How do I go about validating them? What are some different approaches to that kind of validation and confirmation? It's going to be a great discussion, and Andy's going to be joining us for that, and a few other exciting people as well. So really looking forward to that. I want to also call out Genuine Parts Company, Genuine Parts Corporation. They're the parent company of Napa. They are doing a massive transformation of how they do product development right now, especially on the technology side, and they are hiring dozens of product managers. I'm going to drop some links into the chat here. And if you jump over to their website, I will take you to a search for all the product management roles that they have available right now. They are looking for great people to help them with that transformation. Would love to have you check them out. Sophion has just announced that they're going to continue as one of our leading sponsors next year as well. They've got a portfolio of solutions that help bring product management and innovation together. They launched last year a product called Acclaim Products, and it's at acclaimproducts.io. It's a dashboard solution. It's a management solution to help you really dig in and understand and prove the impact that the product work that you're doing, the product development work that you're doing is actually having on the marketplace, is actually having towards your KPIs. Really powerful solution. Check out acclaimproducts.io. And of course, Product Management University. If you're looking for some professional development training around the product management career space, John Mansour has been conducting these kinds of trainings for decades, and it's just one of the best trainers on the market. He put together Product Management University. I think he launched it a year and a half ago now. Product Management University takes a lot of this content and has put it online so that you can do self-paced training with one of the leading B2B product management trainers in the world, John Mansour. And that's available to Product Coffee Premium members for 25% off. If you are a premium member, you get 25% off. So the way that works out is a premium membership right now costs $300 a year. And you can jump in and take John's training. If you take the his full foundations core product management training, that costs about $1,000 retail. But with your Product Coffee Premium discount, you get that for about $300 off. So you just kind of get two for the price of one there. So I really recommend checking out his training. And also, if you want to do on-site or in-person training, you get that discount as well. His in-person trainings tend to be about $1,500, $1,700 a seat. So you can get an even bigger savings there. And as Jerry's pointing out in the chat, a lot of companies, especially at this time of year, most companies have a budget for their team, and because of the weirdness of this last year, we learned that a lot of companies have a lot of that hasn't been spent on training. Reach out to your man. Your product coffee premium members, you 12 professional development workshops every year, a bunch of other benefits. Yes, I am rumbling a little bit. Apparently, I've got problem microphone. So I pause for a second and I'm Jerry to talk about product coffee premium for a minute.
I think I heard Jerry's going to talk about product coffee premium for a minute. Okay. Yes. So the premium membership, you can get to it from our from the productcoffee.com website. There's a link there to join the premium membership. And as Jason was mentioning, many companies, as part of the continuing education budget, will cover that. And you can either reach out to your manager, reach out to someone in HR. I just searched on CPrime's company Confluence site for continuing education and found in the HR space information about our budget. So, and it applies. So yeah, check it out. Did that work, Jason? No, now you're out completely.
While Jason is working on his microphone, I wanted to talk about Product Coffee Book Club. We have a book club session that we have a series of either actual books that take 3 to 6 weeks to go over, and we have these called mini series, some seasonal mini series, if you will, to support the holiday periods. This Friday, we have a book club regarding a prioritization that's very related to what we're talking about right here today. And so if you'd like to know more about it, go to productcoffee.com/book club and you can sign up for it. And by some very heavy-handed requests for changing the time from Thursday to Friday, we have adopted Friday at 10 a.m. going forward. So for those that couldn't make it on Thursdays, it's Friday at 10 a.m.
Very good. Thank you, Manesh. I think everybody should hear me now. Okay. Can I get a nod or a thumbs up? Yeah, I got a thumbs up. Excellent. Cool. Thank you very much. I think it's going to be an interesting day with sound issues I've been fighting all morning. So thank you very much, Manesh. That was definitely something we wanted to cover off on. I also want to let everybody know we have our next professional development workshop is going to be next Friday, which is, I believe, the 17th. And that is going to be the strategic prioritization for product leaders, also known as the 60-second business case, which is a prioritization model that literally dozens of companies have been using for over a decade. I created when I was with Silverpop, along with my teammates at Silverpop, to do a little bit more than something like a RICE prioritization model that really focuses on a lot of important factors. The 60-second business case brings your company and business and product strategy into the opportunity prioritization discussion. So it takes not just data and quantitative measures into prioritization account, it also takes some fundamentally qualitative concepts around your business priorities into account in a way that you can easily defend. And we're going to be going through how to build that model for your own portfolio and some best practices and some tips to really elevate your stature and your impact and influence in the organization. This framework opens conversations between you and the C-suite as an individual contributor. It really does open conversations up so that you can plug in and get into much more senior level conversations and grow your career by being a major influencer in your organization. We'll talk about that a little bit more. That workshop is $199. You can go to productcoffee.com to sign up for it. Once again, if you're a premium member, it's included with your membership. $300 a year, you get a ton of stuff. So we would love to have you join us there. I'm going to next week, I talked real quickly about validating priorities and kind of the continuous approach to making that a habit that you have. And we're going to have a really rich roundtable discussing the concept and some best practices and some techniques for validating priorities in really powerful, defensible ways. And that'll be next week, and it's going to be an 11:30 a.m. session. So if you like it a little bit later in the morning, or if you're out on the West Coast, that will be a little bit easier for you to join us for. And registration will go live for that later today. All right. For those of you who are just joining us for the first time, one of the other things that we do here at Product Coffee is we have a common notes document. If you go to productcoffee.com/notes, then you can join us in a Google Doc that you can star and save to your own Google Drive, save a shortcut to your own Google Drive, and it'll be out there for you forever. And the idea here is if you have an insight or a thought or capture something that you think is beneficial to you, if you put it in this common notes document, then we all get the benefit of each other's insights. And it's kind of one of the way that we use our community here to help each other improve our own individual results and education, professional education. Productcoffee.com/notes. Jerry dropped a link in the chat as well. See in the notes document. It's another way to connect with your peers. You can drop your LinkedIn profile in there as well so that people can find you easily. All right. With that being said, we're going to shift gears now and move into our program. So my name is Jason Brett. We want to welcome you to Product Coffee. And if this is your first time here, you're in for a great ride. Jerry Odenwelder is one of our super secret, or at least super exclusive Coffee Clatch members, which is the kind of the advisory council here at Product Coffee, among other things. And Jerry is a coach at CPrime, and he's going to be talking about communicating your priorities, and especially when the how you get there really matters. And so with that being said, I'm going to turn the floor over to Jerry, and thank you for being here, my friend. I'm going to make you a co-host so you can share your screen as you need to.
Great. Thank you, Jason.
Mm-hmm.
I'm waiting for tell me.
You're set.
All right, good.
You're set.
Nope, it still says I'm disabled.
It looks like you gave access to another Jerry.
Oh, do we have another Jerry? Oh, well.
Go, Jerry. You can present now.
Yeah.
Surprise, other Jerry.
Sure enough, we hadn't seen Jerry. We hadn't seen Jerry Seifert in a while. Good to see you, friend.
It's
well, you're probably wondering why I gathered you here today.
It's true PowerPoint karaoke. I will present to Jerry's deck.
I wanted you to see the pumpkin patch.
All right. Let's talk about communicating priorities. Good morning, everyone, and thank you for being here. Let's see. So just quickly about me. I started my career as a developer, pivoted to product management probably a good 15, 20 years ago, did product management for version 1, which does agile product and project management tooling. And so I was exposed to a lot of different product management practices throughout a bunch of companies and through agile thought leaders through that time frame. And now I do coaching for CPrime. The outcome for this session, right? In the next 45 minutes, I would like for everyone to walk away with at least 3 new techniques or 3 techniques to help them communicate priorities. And if not, Jason, I put you on the hook for refunding registration fees. I hope that's no big deal.
All right. Okay.
In order to get there, I'm going to share a short presentation, and then we'll use a communication exercise. Those who are familiar with 1, 2, 4, all, that's what we'll be doing, and just learn and network with each other. I will be quick. I do have a hard stop, so I'm going to have to probably jump 2 or 3 minutes early, but I think we will be well through everything by then. In thinking about communications, I would go as far as saying that it is the most important thing that we do as product professionals. You know, we do the prioritization, we do the backlog grooming, we do customer discovery, we do a lot of things, but it's that communication that ties it all together and is key to what we do. So I'm going to go through this quick presentation addressing these 5 questions that we have here. And I'll start with, where should I start? Which is kind of the rhetorical question, because I think we all know the answer to that. It should have been yesterday, right? And I don't necessarily mean yesterday as in you should have been doing it yesterday, but really before you start prioritization, while you are prioritizing, while you are, all the things that we do, keep the communication going. If you haven't started it already, well, there's no time like the present. You can always start today. It's just important that you not wait until tomorrow, right? Otherwise, and where's Holly when you've got really great cat pictures? So
I know, right?
Anyway, it is continuous. So it's important that, we always are communicating with our stakeholders, with our customers, with our teams, which is, as you might guess, the next question. How often should we be communicating? In sales, there's a mantra, the ABCs of selling, right? Always be closing. If you talk to any of your sales folks in your organization, they will tell you this, they will confirm it, and they will tell you how important it is. In product management, it is always be communicating, right? Once is never enough. Twice isn't much better. And this goes for more than just priorities, right? When I launched the analytics product at version 1, version 1 was a mature product relative to analytics when it launched. And we had big plans for the analytic product. And unfortunately, we over communicated those big plans. And so people presumed that it would do way more than it could when it was launched. And at the time, I was a young product manager and wasn't really mature enough to realize what was going on and calm the excitement. And so what happened was we let the communication take care of itself. I let the communication take care of itself and didn't really manage it. And so by not over communicating what was and wasn't possible, our sales team, our marketing team, customers, unfortunately, were left to believe it could do way more than it could. And of course, after the fact, we had to go and pull a bunch of things back in on that. So one of the first tips for communicating priorities is to establish that cadence, right? Whether this is a one-on-one communication cadence with your stakeholders, with a group of stakeholders, what I would call the product team. So think about people from various stakeholder communities, sales, marketing, field services, sales engineering. Like think about those groups within your organization as a team that you're communicating with, and stick to that cadence. Like I cannot overemphasize that enough. A team that I worked with in India, I forced them really to meet with me daily. And they're like, but Jerry, we have nothing to talk about today. And I'm like, I don't care. We'll talk about what you did last night, what you're going to do this weekend. Like we will meet every day to talk about whatever happens to be on the agenda for that day. Sometimes it was work, sometimes it wasn't. So the cadence becomes really important. Don't wait for the planning meeting, right? If you wait till the planning meeting to communicate priorities, to communicate whatever's happening within the organization, you've waited too long, right? They're much better as smaller conversations along the way. Again, the cadence than it is to wait till the planning meeting. So who should we be communicating with? Well, in my opinion, and those that I've worked with, we are pollinators, right? Product management is a pollinator within an organization. We interact with every group. And as part of those interactions, we learn things that other groups need to know. And so just like the bees and the butterflies flying from flower to flower, pollinating, it is part of our job as part of communication to pollinate information throughout the organization. So obviously, customers, stakeholders, teams, I talked about that before. There's a great video out there on product management in a nutshell. That's where the screenshot is from. And In it, Heinrich does a great job summarizing like everything that we do as product management. In a previous workshop, Jason has talked about this framework for stakeholder identification, right? People that in your stakeholder group that you need to work with, from the C-suite to other common teams. There's also a stakeholder matrix. Again, if you go back and look at this workshop, talking about, the people that are interested versus their influence, right? So if you have somebody that's very influential and very interested in what you're doing, interact with that stakeholder more often. Somebody that's not as interested and not as influential, you still want to keep them satisfied, but you don't need to work with them as frequently. And this is another one of my favorites that I've used. It's a stakeholder canvas. I learned this from Bruce McCarthy several years ago, and it's really great. I still use this today. Whenever I start an engagement with a customer, I create, excuse me, I create one of these canvases in a, in a Miro board or a mural board, and I just fill in the blanks. Who's on the core team, who's extended, and who are impacted, so that I can understand. I'm not as great about doing the my, why. Oops, sorry, trying to use my mouse. I'm not as great about doing the my why and their why and all of that, although the approach that he advocates is really great. I love it in theory. I'm just not as disciplined enough to like fill all that out all the time. I will keep notes on the side about what each of these people are interested in and what's important to them, so that I can remember to look out for that kind of information, or make sure to talk to them about it. While we're talking about this, somebody in the introductions mentioned stakeholder management. Bruce is working on a new book with Melissa Appeal, and it's called Aligned, and it's all about stakeholder management. It's expected to be out next summer. And there is a link. I put some links in the notes document this morning. There's a link there if you want to join an early reader club. They are still accepting people into that. And don't forget the teams, right? There's a lot of people that we need to interact with. And unfortunately, sometimes some of these folks are the last to know things. It's important that we engage with them as well. They are stakeholders in many ways in what we're working on, although we don't typically think about them as stakeholders. So making sure these folks stay involved and updated and understand the priorities is just as important as the C-suite. And finally, building bridges. Often it's difficult to get, especially to the C-suite, it's difficult to get to those people, but you can build bridges with someone within their organization that they do connect with more often. So for example, if you have a hard time getting to the CFO, who in finance might you talk to that interacts with the CFO either directly or indirectly, so you can understand their perspective, you can get information to them, and maybe even score that meeting that you need with that person directly. And finally, remember that it's a team effort, right? You don't have to do it alone. As product people, we are on the hook for doing these communications, but there are people that can better explain things. If you have to communicate something and it's a struggle, bring an engineer along, bring somebody from marketing along, bring somebody along who can explain the details, so that you don't have to fumble through the words and try to make sense of something that one of your colleagues could probably just rattle off the explanation in a minute or two and can summarize it. So don't be afraid to engage your team. So the next question then, how should we communicate? I find making it collaborative, again, not doing it alone, is it makes it so much easier, right? Alignment is easier if everyone's there to participate in the prioritization exercise. If you try to work on it at your desk, solo and then sell it, it's so much more difficult to sell the priorities than if you have engaged stakeholders and your team and others in the process. If you do have to work on it, if you and your team have to work on it, and then you have to sell it sell it up the management chain, right? Sell it to the stakeholders. Make sure when you're doing that presentation, you use words to acknowledge the collaboration, right? Use words like we and us, and not necessarily me and I. A great way that I find to do these collaborative sessions is through workshops. And we're going to actually do one a little bit later with the 1, 2, 4 all liberating structure. But there's tons of resources out on the internet around workshopping techniques. And honestly, it's a lot more fun to do it as a workshop than it is to sit in a meeting or just sit at a desk and do it. If you get a group of people together to workshop priorities, workshop the work you're about to do, it is a lot more fun. Another thing that we often don't think about with communication is the listening aspect of it, right? Normally, when we think about communication, we're thinking about, well, I've got to tell somebody, I've got to write something, I've got to do something. It's all about outward communication. But the listening aspect of it is so important because, communication is a two-way street. And if you let them share first, right, you go into to talk with a stakeholder and they have an opportunity to talk to you first, it gives you a couple of advantages as a product manager, which is now you kind of know where they're coming from and what's on their brain right now. And so when you're talking to them about a priority change, or what do you think the priority changes need to be, you can use words back to them to kind of let them know that, hey, I heard what you're saying. This is what's going on. Like that kind of exchange, knowing that they were heard, makes them a lot more receptive to any bad news, if you have bad news, for sure. The last thing on this bullet here, asking for input, not feedback. This is a technique that I have found to be extremely valuable. If you go to somebody and say, these are the priorities, can you give me your feedback? It feels like, okay, this is what we're going to do. Now tell me what you think. If you go to them with a list of priorities and you're like, hey, I want your input on these. Again, now you're engaging them in the process. And because they're going to participate in it, it makes it more, there's more of an ownership thing to it. And so it's easier to reach that alignment that you will need moving forward. And when possible, tell a story. Facts and data are important, right? Making decisions just because is not a great way. I mean, you can be successful doing that, don't get me wrong, but it's generally speaking, it's not the best approach. But when you use these facts and data, if you can tell a story about what is happening and why the priorities have to be the way they are to satisfy your customer, it will resonate far better and be far more palatable than if you just rattle off a bunch of facts and say, okay, and this is the way the priorities have to be. And remember to close the loop. Again, it's a two-way street, right? We're not, if what you say is not interpreted by the other person the way you interpret it, communication is lost. So, sending that quick email afterwards or a follow-up, to a conversation is always important. And make sure to call out the elephant, right? I know it's hard. I struggle having to call out the elephant sometimes, but if you don't, there's that opportunity again for miscommunication because what you said and what they interpreted was very different. And finally, what if I'm wrong? All right. A lot of times we don't want to say something or do something because what if we're wrong? Ironically, this was a last minute slide. Yesterday, I received an email from Harvard Business Review on this book, The First Rule of Mastery. And it talked about it was a pitch, obviously a pitch email for the book, but it talked about the fear of other people's opinion, right? Because we are fearful of what other people might think of us or what's going on, we tend to play it safe. We tend to surrender our viewpoints or trade authenticity for approval. And so I was like, oh, wow, I'm going to stick this in the deck because this kind of goes straight to what we're talking about, right? With having to do the presentation or the communication of priorities. Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid of what the other people are thinking. The other thing that stood out to me is this author is Michael Gervais, which made me think of Ricky Gervais. And I was just wondering, like, it was just funny to me that like a comedian might have a brother that's a PhD in human psychology. And the other thing about the fearfulness of it is, so what, right? So what if you're wrong? Did you learn something? And if you learn something as part of that communication, then you've got more data, more information to use in your prioritization. I had many conversations with our CEO at version 1, and he would end the conversation with, Jerry, you just don't understand. And he would proceed to tell me things that I either didn't know or a different perspective on things that I did know that were insightful. So if you are wrong, as long as you learn something, so what? Move forward. Let what you learn inform the next round of prioritization. And finally, and I'm going to credit Allison Herbert for this. There's a great site out there, one page or 1 hour, and this one has been so beneficial to me because I realize if I just spend an hour or just write a page or just do a quick, hey, here's what I think the priorities need to be, use that as input into the collaboration, into the workshops. If you're wrong, hey, I just spent an hour doing it. Hey, it's just a page. Like you didn't invest days and hours coming up with something that you then learned was wrong. You just invested an hour. And so if you have a chance to check this out, it's a really great site. And thanks, Allison, for that one. That was a huge benefit to me. All right, so that wraps up the presentation. Before we start this exercise, are there any clarification questions on what we just discussed? Or what was just presented, I guess?
I think first and foremost, I'm newer to the product space. So Jerry, this is awesome. Really, really good information. I wrote down multiple things. I'm going to paste it up on my desk as reminders. But the last point you had, the fear of people's opinions, I think that's a good reminder to get started kind of when you're communicating with these things, in that I'm blanking on what I was going to say there, but I'm not going to worry about people's opinions. Again, really like how you brought that up and how that ties together in communication. And yeah, some of the best advice I've gotten in the product space is product professional is a master communicator. So I really like how you called that out and gave different examples there.
Thank you. Thank you. All right. So the way this exercise, if you've never done 1, 2, 4 all, it's a lot of fun. And this slide is really, like it mentions, just an overview. We're going to take, actually, it's a little less than 30 minutes now, but I'll give you a few minutes to work independently. And I've got the question on the next slide. And then what we'll do is we'll pair you up to share what you have from your independent thought. And then we'll group you up into groups of 4. And for 2 and 4, I actually have a Miro board ready. And then we'll all come back together. So to present, I think we are going to play with times a little bit here, Jason, just because of where we are timing wise. So what we'll do, we'll take 2 minutes here to think about how you communicate priorities and jot down your favorite tip or trick, or, hey, don't do this. I tried this and it didn't work for me. And then we'll do the pairing. So I'm going to be quiet for 2 minutes. And yes, that's possible. Allison, don't say anything. Jason, I could do the breakout groups from here, correct?
I'll have to make you host to let you do it, but I can do that.
Well, then let's do this. Let's create breakout groups for just randomize people into pairs. And I just lost my Miro link, so give me just a second and I will pull that back up here. I don't know how I managed to do that. I'm sure it's hiding behind me. So when we put you in your groups, I'm going to post the link to this board. You're going to be in, it'll send you to a room, and whatever room you're in, find on this board the pair for that room. So if you go to room, 11, for example, then come down here where it says pair 11 and work on that. And what we'll do is we'll set a 5-minute timer there. Actually, you know what, Jason, let's do 4 minutes there. Let's just take a minute off of each one so that we have time together when we come back.
Okay.
And are you setting it up to auto close?
Yes.
Have you opened them up yet? Can you turn that option off?
I can.
Okay, let's turn that off. And what we'll do, so you'll go into pairs. When that timer ends, we will join you to another pair. Does that make sense? So for example, the group that's in 11 and the group that's in 12, we'll just join those two rooms together, Jason, using the move feature.
Okay.
And move people into a group. And so then you'll be in like one of 6 or 7 groups. I think I did the math right. I think there's going to end up being 7 groups at the end here. And then we'll all come back together. So we'll just tie these together. We'll send a message out that you're going to move. We'll move you. And then you can follow on the board where you are to move to the middle group. And then we'll all come back together. All right. Is that clear as mud?
Completely.
All right, let's open up the group.
All right, here we go.
All right.
Worked out perfectly because you're the odd man out.
Good. I was worried about that when I saw myself go in a group. I was like, "Ooh, I don't have anything." Number one.
Yep. Looks like we may have lost Candace, so I'm going to put Allison in with Marco. There we go. We lost a couple people there.
Okay, that's fine.
Come on, there we go.
And I'm just going to set a timer here.
I was bumped back.
Hey, Candace.
Hi.
All right, I will drop you in. I'm going to drop you in a room that's got 2 people in it already.
Okay.
All right. Come on, Candace. There you are. Move you to room 1. There you go. For some reason. Oh, there she goes. She made it. All right.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
You never have as much time at the end as you want.
Yep, I know it. And you got the time. You've got a timer going for this, right?
Yeah, I've got a timer going in the room, and I'll let you know when we can. Or can I? I can see breakout. Oh, I can broadcast a message to breakout room. So I'll just broadcast a message from here.
Okay.
And then you and I can pair up to move people into, because what we'll do, my thought was, I'm not sharing my screen anymore, but if we look at I'll share the screen here real quick. My thought was like the people that are in they'll be in like room 11 and 12. We'll just move the 12 people to 11, for example, and move the 10 people to 9 and so forth. And that way,
yep,
they'll then be in groups. And then we'll do 5 more minutes in the group. I wanted to do 10 minutes in the group, but I don't think we'll have enough time to talk if we go 10 minutes.
So just let me know when you want me to start moving them.
Yeah. Looking at the clock now, it's 8:44, and I'm going to have to leave at like 5 till or somewhere between 5 till and the hour just to end one Zoom session and start another one. All right, so 30 seconds left.
See that?
Oh, yeah, you can see my screen.
Yeah, I just realized.
Where do you want to start? Do you want to start moving 2 to 1, or do you want to start with 12 and I'll start with 2?
I'm scrolled down to 12 already, so why don't you start with 2?
Okay. Yeah. All right, I'm going to start moving. Ah, come on. Oh, this was a bad idea.
Was it?
Hang on a second, because every time you move, my screen adjusts.
Oh. Well, here, I'll just keep moving them.
There we go. And then the 4 people need to go to 3.
Except there's no end 4, so it's basically 6 is going to 3.
Okay, cool.
There we go. Everybody's moved.
All right. And so what I'll do is I'm just going to give them 4 minutes here, because otherwise we're not going to have enough time to talk.
Yeah.
Right. I was excited that somebody found it valuable. That was, I was like, all right.
A lot of value in here.
So.
And if you're watching the recording, if you're watching on YouTube, we'll have the whole group back in here in a few minutes for some wrap-up discussions. So stick with it. Otherwise, you can just watch Jerry and I hang out and rap.
Yeah, the YouTubers get all the behind the scenes action.
If I had thought about it, and when we do this in the future, what we should do is we should actually keep one of the breakouts in the main room.
The main room. Yeah.
So that'll keep the live stream going.
Notes for future sessions.
Yep.
Do any of those? So you and I could be a group. What techniques do you have
for communicating my priorities? Yeah. So when I'm communicating priorities, the first thing what I'm really doing is I'm saying, this is the way it's going to be. I don't want your input. I don't care. I know everything. I'm the product manager. I have no.
That's what I do too.
Yeah. So really, when I'm communicating priorities out, when the work is already done and we're kind of like talking about the direction that we're going, I still favor focusing the discussion on the outcomes in general, because that tends to ground people. So we talk about, here's what we're trying to achieve, and here's the work that we're doing now in order to achieve that. Most of the people that I'm communicating with at that point it's a confirmation of what we've already talked about. That's not the first time they're seeing it. There are rarely any surprises unless we're kind of getting deeper into the organization and we're not talking to senior stakeholders. We're kind of informing consumers in the organization, like the account management team or something like that. And when I'm doing that, I tend to do a bit of a dog and pony show to bring them up to speed of, once again, here's what our priorities were. Here's what we're trying to achieve. So here's the work that we're prioritizing in order to do that, and do some Q&A around it.
Yeah. Yeah. So
What's you?
Yeah, no,
we just saw your approach.
Yeah, and most of mine again gets back into the collaborative nature of it. And like you said, so there's no surprises, right? If you've talked to the key stakeholders throughout the process and you know what they're thinking, they know what you're thinking, the priorities that come out are no surprise. They've seen them already.
Right.
They've participated in setting them. They know why. If their thing is not at the top, they know why. If their thing's not on the list, they know why. And I find that to be so much easier than the surprise. The surprise at the end is it just ends in arguments and it goes a bad way.
Yep. There's a subtlety. Well, it's time to start. Are we going to close the rooms and bring them all back out now?
Yeah, except it wants to give them 2 more minutes to close.
Oops.
That's okay. It's all right.
So there is the subtlety of when you're doing that upfront communication and you're communicating and you're asking for input, when there is a stakeholder conversation where there is a misalignment in priorities.
Yeah.
And you're introducing a concept, even though it's kind of, you haven't finished your prioritization, you're working through it, but there's a misalignment in kind of some of the priority drivers that you discover along the way. And that surfaces when you're doing kind of that. I love how Bruce talks about it in his product roadmaps relaunched book, when he talks about shuttle diplomacy.
Yes.
Because you're kind of making the rounds anyway. So those things are getting surfaced early, and you are presenting, here are our inputs, here are our objectives, and here's how we think we can get there. I love what's your input? What input do you have? Because that is where sometimes you do have some surprises, but because the solution and the prioritization isn't baked at that point, you've got some time to negotiate and to campaign and to kind of help everyone and to create alignment through good conversation earlier in the process versus getting blown up. I had a question in some of the registration surveys saying, hey, how do you say no when a senior stakeholder comes in and wants to disrupt your priorities?
Yeah.
And the question I always ask is, well, why do they want to disrupt your priorities? Are your priorities right?
Yeah.
Why do they think that this is more important? And do you need to say no? And sometimes the answer is yes. Sometimes there is some discussion and debate to be had and some work to be done there. But don't always assume that just because someone wants to disrupt your priorities that they're wrong.
Yeah. Cool. Love that. Yeah, because you can't. You need to at least hear them out. You need to understand why do they think your priorities are wrong and they're right.
Yep.
Right. So welcome back, everyone. What I'd like to do, I think we wound up with just 2 rooms at the end. Is that right? No, we wound up with several rooms at the end.
Oh. Yeah.
So our founders decided to have a merger, and so we merged 2 rooms. And Mark Badia Mark had the most number of stocks, so he made out like a bandit. So.
Well, what room were you in, Manish? We'll start with your room.
I don't know the room number or whatever it was, but it was me and Mark when we started off, and then Giorgio and Megan joined us. Or we joined them, one of the 2.
So it should be like right around here on the board. Does this look right?
Yeah, that should be us.
So what tips and tricks did you come up with?
One of the tips, I guess you could say, is separate your objectives and your plans from prioritization, and trying to be more adaptive and what I termed just-in-time prioritization. And then I think we also talked about tuning your communication and understanding the style of communication to whom you are communicating to. Megan, if I said that wrong, please jump in.
Yeah, no, that's exactly right. So the communication preferences of your stakeholders. So are they verbal, visual, written, and making sure you're communicating in the way that they take in the information.
Yeah, there's nothing worse than writing a bunch of stuff and finding out your stakeholders a visual person or just I'm working with a group now that are very written, and so and I'm visual. So for me, it's like, I gotta translate all of this. What other group wants to go? And Jason, I'm going to ask you to take over facilitation in about a minute because I'm going to have to hop. But thank you, everyone, because I'm just going to disappear. So what group's going next?
Group 6.
Group 6.
Yeah.
All right.
So I read out the tag here, John. So if you don't mind, let me just take this one, and you pipe in if you need to add to what I'm saying. Basically, the key, I think what we settled on was that before you explain your point to the audience in question, whether it's one stakeholder, one executive, or it's a group of people, explain the context around it, giving the story, any details which have changed over time to that point, the whys and wherefores behind it. Frame the picture with the context here, then make the point that you're really trying to deliver, which is key. So they're really warmed up and ready for it.
I like it. Warm them up. John, did you had your hand up? Did you have something to add to that?
Yeah, I think there were a couple of other little details. We talked about the strategic why, so making sure that the larger context is understood.
Yeah.
And then another key element is making sure the individual contribution that you're asking for is highlighted, its importance in the success of the mission, the project, or the goals and achieving them, so that it's not just another task that they have to do.
Right.
Yeah.
And I heard something in there that I think is key. If you are asking your stakeholder to change something, or if you're asking your team to change something or whatever, make sure they understand. Like, don't just tell them, hey, now we need to do X instead of Y. Like, the why we're doing X instead of Y, and
so
the context.
One of the things we talked about in the group was the strategy may not change, but the context could.
Yeah.
Or what you understand could, but then making sure that change is understood and still highlighting their contribution and how that's important to the new path or the revised path could be a way of talking about it.
Love that. All right. Who wants to go next?
Group 3 can go next there, and team jump in from group 3 too here. But one thing we talked about is making, in addition to communicating the priorities, communicating the roadmap in various ways, various avenues, whether user groups, one-on-one meetings, smaller meetings, internally, externally, but also making it accessible. Maybe that's a portal, maybe that's some other way, because there's always the famous, where that roadmap, where was it? It was in this, where was it? What meeting? Right? There's a place they can always go find it. Even though you get it to them 10 times, there's a place they can go find it. And then I loved what the prioritization readout is huge as well, that our team mentioned. As well as Jerry mentioned this too, asking the key stakeholders how they want to receive the information. Now, what was just mentioned there as well, are they, they want it in writing, they want to talk about it, they want to know that. And I loved what Yasmin said too, is making sure they know the process and having a definite process around that. So they're clear. Even they may not like the results, but they know the process that it went through. It wasn't a black hole, wasn't a mystery. Here's what happened. So anyway.
Yep.
So,
and I think one of the things we talked about was from a perspective of, my job. We have multiple product managers competing for our limited resources. And so, having those conversations when you change your priorities amongst each other, especially because, I can put myself at the top of the roadmap, and say, hey, it's top priority. But, having those conversations with others just to make sure they understand as well, and saying, okay, yeah, I'm going to need the team for this period of time, and you'll have to take them afterward, right?
All right, Jason, it's all yours. Thanks again, everybody. I will see you all next week, if not before. Take care.
He's not speaking.
Oh, Jason. Manish, it's all yours.
Oh, there we go. No, I got it. Sorry. Thanks, Jerry. That was a fantastic session. Really appreciate it. And we are at the top of the hour, so we will do a little bit of just a couple of quick announcements. Once again, remember the book club sign up. Go to productcoffee.com/book club. That is free for everyone. I want to welcome Dustin, our newest Product Coffee Premium member. We're so glad to have you. Congratulations. Already got you in the Slack group, and we'll look forward to seeing you and get to know you better in there. And hope everybody has a great week. We'll be back at 11:30 next week with validating your priorities with a round table of product management experts from around the country. And we're looking forward to seeing you all then. Everybody have a great day, and we'll see you soon. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Jason.
Thank you, Jason.